Hey everyone, this is Deb with Four Seasons Crafts. So today is day 2 in our single card base series. So we are going to make another card today, and I'm going to share with you first the pieces and the measurements, and it does not take a lot at all. So again, just to remind you, each card we're making in this series of 7 just has a card base of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this is our card base. This is Balmy Blue. And then I think I mentioned in our first video, we're going to try to use all Sale-A-Bration paper. So this comes from I think it's Dandy Designs, and it's the one that has 48 sheets of 12 by 12. So this is a sheet of that, and it is cut at 6 inches by 5 1/2. Okay, so 6 inches by 5 1/2, and I will bring in the measurements here just so you guys can see them. So 5 1/2 by 6 inches is our designer series paper. And then of course I always like to have, unless it's a white card, an inside layer. And this of course is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then, let me go back to our designer series paper. This is scored at a 1/2 inch and 4 3/4. So pretty basic measurements. Those are all the pieces you need to make the card. And then I have these outside layers that we're actually going to stamp on this one and put our sentiment and do a stamped image. And then this is the base, or the layer. So the outside layer is 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. And then the white layer is 2 1/2 by 3. So those are all of our measurements. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. Now this is the 1/2 inch that I trimmed off of the piece of designer paper. And I think I'm actually going to use it on the card. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is actually go ahead and do our stamping. Now, I've actually stamped this out already, but we're going to go ahead and stamp it here. So I'm using the Sweet Songbirds. This is in the annual catalog, and it just has some cute images. And I thought, you know what, let's just use that. So we're going to use Balmy Blue, which is the same color as our paper for our bird. And then we're going to use Sahara Sand for the nest. And then we're going to use some Tahitian Tide as well. So let's go ahead and stamp the nest first. So we'll just ink this right up and put it at the bottom. And then we'll stamp our little bird here. My Balmy Blue ink is in need of a refill, and I'm just going to tell you guys, I'm kind of waiting before, just in case. I don't know what colors are still going to be around, right? They're doing the color refresh for those of you who may be aware, and that is going to come in the new annual catalog. So just something to be thinking about. All right, this is Tahitian Tide, excuse me, and we're going to do just a little wing here for our bird, and we're just going to kind of put that right here off to the side. Now, one of the things, I'm going to actually try my best, and I might have to pull this a little closer to me. I'm going to try to line that up and stamp it again, just to give it a little more, be a little darker. All right, there we go. Then we're going to take some Memento Black, and we're going to give our little bird some eyes and a sentiment across the top. So this set is just adorable. I think it's got so many cute stamps in it. It's got 2 different birds, and then there's a punch that punches out the bird, and a wing, and I think the belly. So you can take this piece right here and fill in the belly in a different color. So just super adorable. And then you have this branch and leaves that you could just use by itself and kind of bring this down and make a sign. So lots of adorable things we can do with that. But this is more about the card base than the design. Oh, and we need this then for our greeting. So let's go ahead and ink up the word congratulations. And we're going to put this right on the top here. There we go. All right, so we are all done stamping. So we're going to close these up and get them out of our way just so we do not end up with ink in our paper, which would happen, right? That would easily happen with me. All right, so we're going to set this off to the side. And then let's take our piece of designer series paper. And again, sort of like before, we need to decide what part we want on the outside and which part we want on the inside. So I think what I'm going to do is I want the dots more on, let's see, how do I want to do this? So I have to decide which side I want on the front. So what colors do you want to be the main colors here? And I think I want the dots. So that means, so if this is the front of my card now, okay, I'm going to take my bone folder and we're just gonna bring that down. And then we have this other score line. We're going to bring that inside. So it's like a Z fold, you know, if you want to say that, just because you have it going in different directions. So this is the back, this is the front. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take our piece, our flat piece that we had, remember, and we're going to go ahead and first, let's put our white, we're going to put our piece of white cardstock on here. Might as well do that now. It's a little easier. Now, again, like I said before, if you're going to stamp any kind of greeting or an image, I certainly would do that before you adhere this to your card base, just in case, just in case, okay, that's just not cooperating right now. We'll take this one. So again, sorry, I would make sure that you stamp your image before you put this down, just in case it smears or you mess up. You certainly don't want to then not be able to use that other piece of cardstock. Whereas if you stamp incorrectly, the nice thing is the basic white cardstock that Stampin' Up! Sells, you could easily turn it over and stamp the other side and no one would know. So always keep that in mind. All right, so there's our card base. Now we're going to take the piece that we just folded, right? We fold this piece under and this piece over. Now all we have to do is adhere it to our base. So all you're doing is taking your card base and you're kind of inserting it in so that it's going to line right up against this edge. Okay, and then you're going to check and make sure everything's lined up on the other side. And we're just going to take this piece here and we're going to add some adhesive all the way down. And if you guys can hear, our little dogs are barking about something. All right, here we go. We got quite the snow yesterday, and it's beautiful and sunny here today. I was hoping I could actually have the window open and we could get some natural light in here this morning for these cards, but it's so bright it kind of just casts a shadow. All right, so again, we're just making sure this is right up against here. And then we're pressing this down to get a nice, good hold on that edge. And now we're going to turn it over here and make sure that this is down. All right, there we go. And this is what we have now, guys. We've opened this up and we have this beautiful designer paper here and then our area where we can write. And then you have this here on the back, which I love. It just kind of, it doesn't look like it's a scrap. It doesn't anything like that. Now, if you wanted, you could cover it up, but I love it. I thought it looks very cool. Now, I mentioned I have this little strip here. I thought I would put it on here, but now that I think about it, I think I'm going to leave it because if I put it on, it's kind of blending with this. And if I turn it over, it's just the same. So I think we'll forego that idea. Now we're going to take our piece of basic black and our stamped image that we just had. And we're going to go ahead and adhere this. And this could be any shape. It could be a circle, a rectangle, a square, anything that you so desire that you would like there, you could put. So it's totally, totally up to you. I find some of these cards are very simple, just simple to make because the designer paper is doing so much for you. All right, so here we go. So now we're going to adhere it to our card here. Now, let me tell you this too. So in this case, I could leave it like this and open it this way and have this show through, or I can adhere this right down to the front of my card. So I think for this one, I'm actually going to, excuse me, adhere this piece down. But again, either way you want to do it, you can do that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put that down there. And then I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals and put it right there in the center of my card. All right, here we go. I just think this is so simple, and yet it's just an adorable card. And the nice thing too is, depending on what you put on the front, it gives the front of your card some sturdiness. Plus, it makes it easy to mail, right? Because you're only dealing with one piece of cardstock. So might be a good card if you wanted to put a little pocket inside here for a gift card. You're still looking at a super light card. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of position this right in the middle. And there we go. And now we could go ahead and add some rhinestones or something like that to our card, but it is that simple, guys. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? And again, we just used one piece of cardstock for our card base. So there you have it. That is it for card number 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, let me just bring in the measurements here so that you can get those as well if you would like. But again, a super, super fun card, not real tricky. And again, if you're low on cardstock, it's this is a great card to use, especially if you have the designer paper to go with it. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining, and we will see you again tomorrow for the next one. Thanks. Bye.